Have you ever heard of Richard Carrington?
No.
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 The biggest solar storm on record is named after him. Carrington, a British astronomer, witnessed it. The Carrington event was a large solar burst from the sun that struck the Earth in 1859. Auroras, the northern lights, were seen as far south as Cuba. It said that people could read a newspaper at night by the light of the aurora. It wasn't all bright lights, though. Chief Scientist Dr. James Spann from the Marshall Space Flight Center in Huntsville explains the dark side.
That was back the time when we had a lot of telegraph lines, and those served as antennas and picked up a lot of energy, and so much energy that some of the wires burnt, even setting fires in some of the local telegraph offices.
Telegraph wires catching fire isn't exactly a 2015 concern. Today's issues would be much more complicated, and they would all stem from a star millions of miles away.
That the sun's energy, as it boils and it seeds, it creates a magnetic field, and that magnetic field then gets discharged out, and it travels across that 93 million miles and strikes the Earth.
That discharged energy can slam into our atmosphere, causing a meltdown of modern digital technology.
So we have a sky full of satellites that provide us our cable TV, our cell phone transmissions, banking transmissions, everything imaginable that you do today is for the most part governed by satellites.
And those satellites would go down. No TV, no GPS, no cell phones. And
the power grid would absorb a lot of energy and pick up a lot of energy, and a lot of additional current would flow through the power grid and probably burn out transformers.
No power, and it could last a long time.
I would say months if it truly is very, very widespread.
The damage from another Carrington event would be significant if it happened today.
An event that would be equivalent to what the Carrington event would be range as high as trillions of dollars of infrastructure damage, on the order of 20 times what Katrina did, for example, in New Orleans.
But what are the odds of another one?
So every 100 years, we probably expect something like this to happen.
That makes it more common than you might think. So common, there's a branch of science dedicated to space weather prediction right here in Alabama.
The Marshall Space Flight Center here, one of the NASA field centers, is heavily engaged in that, both in space environments and space weather predictive.
These scientists are working towards predicting these kinds of events. Right now, those predictions are not very accurate.
If you were to compare it, say, to our traditional terrestrial weather meteorology, we're at least 30 years behind.
We can't predict solar flares yet, but once they occur, we have a roughly 1 to 2 day window before they get here. It's a small heads up to what would be a major global catastrophe.
Should one of these occur, I guarantee you it would take front and center for a long time.
The part of Coffee County, if you start where 87 intersects the Geneva County line, go north to along Highway 84, about halfway between Elba and New Brockton, then head east to over here, close to Fort Rucker, really. You're coming into western Dale County there, not into Dale County, but close to it, and then cutting back south. So this does include the city of Enterprise. Again, this is a tornado warning situation. This is a radar-indicated tornado warning situation for the possibility of a tornado. Here a long time. We've forecasted the weather in Alabama a pretty long time, too. So we know the patterns that produce snow, and this is one of them, but not necessarily for our part of the state. I think for us, mainly a cold rain. If you draw a line from Demopolis to, say, Lake Martin, north of that line, the rain could mix with or change over to a brief period of light snow on the tail end. The ground could turn white, but I don't think this is a major winter storm. North of there, though, you go up into parts of Talladega, Clay, Shelby County, Jefferson County, and points north. This looks like a perhaps historic winter storm right out in here. But as this line moves into an increasingly favorable environment, we may start to see some rotation in the southern part of this line. I think north of Montgomery, the chance of rotation is minor, but south of Montgomery, this is a different story. So you're not out of the woods with this yet in places like Crenshaw County, Pike County, and certainly Coffee and Geneva County, which is the reason we are on your TV right now.
Now your Dr. 12 Storm Vision forecast from Chief Meteorologist Josh Johnson.
Brand new severe thunderstorm warning to pass along. This one was just issued moments ago for parts of Conecuh County down in southwestern Alabama. The risk with the storms today is damaging wind gusts. We've already had some of that down into the far southeastern corner of the state. Now we're getting some of it into southwestern Alabama. Here is Doppler 12 Storm Vision. Check it out. We're talking southern Conecuh, northern Escambia counties. This is mainly just south of downtown Greenville. We'll take you in there, show you that thunderstorm in greater detail. We'll zoom you right down in here into southwestern Alabama. For reference, here's Monroeville. Big storm, by the way, coming into Monroeville right now. A lot of lightning with that one. The severe thunderstorm warning is for this storm between Evergreen and Bruton. I'm going to click play here, and once I do that, you'll be able to see the direction in which these storms are traveling, which frankly, they're not traveling much. If anything, they're drifting southeast. So that's what the kind of almost stationary storm here with some development back to the west a bit. So all in all, not much motion in this, but if we have anything with this, it would likely be damaging wind, perhaps as high as 50 or 60 miles per hour. Covington County, lots of heavy rain here, west and southwest of Andalusia. Then you've got this big cluster of storms that we dealt with a little earlier today over here in the southeastern Alabama. You see all of the little icons over here. Those are each reports of some trees that were blown down. We'll take you through and show you a few of those reports. We had a storm spotter report a wind gust around 55 miles an hour there near Ozark a little after 2 o'clock. And then down into Geneva County, we had some wind damage reports down here, some trees down near Hartford in Geneva County. So about 6 or 7 of these reports of thunderstorms being intense enough to topple a few trees. The storms will continue firing over North Alabama and rolling southeast, so I think area-wide we'll have to maintain a risk of storms through 9 or 10 o'clock tonight. Now, the majority of the rain right now, south of Greenville, south of Troy, but north of there, you're not out of the woods yet. Alex City, Montgomery, Prattville, Selma, you could deal with some thunderstorms down the road here, so we'll keep an eye on that. Then all of it dies off pretty quickly once we get to 9 or 10. Tomorrow, you wake up tomorrow morning, and I think you're off to a dry start, but by tomorrow afternoon, we will see another day with a pretty good coverage of those hit-and-miss showers and thunderstorms. So here's the deal today. It's either rained where you live or it's blistering hot. Yeah, 87 in Troy, 75 in Enterprise, 96 in Montgomery. See what I mean? If it's rained where you are, you've got 80s, maybe even 70s, but in the areas where it hasn't rained, it is very hot, and unfortunately, we think it stays that way. Here's the 7-day. Hot, hot, hot. Afternoon highs, mid-90s. The rain chance does trend up a little bit over the second half of the work week. Getting to tomorrow, Thursday, and Friday, we'll peg it at 40 to 50% coverage, and with that, we will cool all the way down to 94. Yeah, it's a tough
That's
sell,
laughable,
isn't it?
isn't it?
Yeah, it is. Yeah,
Nice
it's
try.
yeah, I'm really working hard over here right about now trying to sell this 7-day. I think there are some signs, though, 9-10 days from now, I think we get into a little bit of a cooler pattern. Fingers crossed on that one.
All right. Thank you so much.